The boy stood on the cracked edge of the parking lot, toes curling inside shoes that were a size too small. The sun was already high, baking the asphalt until it shimmered. His lemonade stand was nothing more than a wobbly plastic table and a handwritten sign taped to the front. The cardboard bent in the heat, the marker letters smudged by sweat and nervous fingers. "Buy my lemonade, it's to help my sick mommy." He'd practiced saying it out loud, but now the word stuck in his throat. Cars slowed. Some drivers looked, then looked away. A woman smiled sadly and drove on. A man shook his head like he didn't want to feel bad today. Each time a car passed without stopping, the boy's shoulders sank a little more. The pitcher was only half full. He'd made it carefully that morning, counting lemon slices like they were gold. Sugar borrowed from a neighbor. Ice melting faster than he expected. Every cup felt like hope slipping through his fingers. Then the sound came, low, heavy, like thunder crawling across the ground. The boy turned just as the first motorcycle rolled into the gas station. Then another, and another. Chrome flashed in the sun. Leather creaked. Boots hit the pavement with slow, deliberate weight. The boy's heart jumped into his throat. He stepped back, gripping the edge of the table. Big men, scarred hands, faces that looked like they didn't smile much. One of the bikers cut his engine and pulled off his helmet. His hair was gray, his beard thick, his eyes sharp but tired. He noticed the boy's shaking hands and softened his voice. "How much for a cup, kid?" The boy swallowed. I don't have a price. Whatever you can give." The biker nodded, reached into his pocket, and set a bill on the table. Then he knelt so his eyes were level with the boy's. "That sign," he said gently. "It true?" The boy nodded, chairs finally winning. "Yes, sir." And in that moment, the bikers didn't see a lemonade stand anymore. They saw a fight that shouldn't belong to a child. The biker stood and waved his hand once. That was all it took. The others lined up without a word, pulling cash from wallets thick and thin, crumpled and clean. Cups were filled, ice clinked, lemonade spilled over shaking hands. No one complained. No one asked for change. The jar filled fast, faster than the boy could count. One biker drank his cup in a single swallow and grimaced. "Strong," he said, then smiled. "Just like life, huh?" The boy didn't know what to say. He just nodded. The leader crouched again, lowering his voice so it stayed between them. "Where's your mom right now?" "At the hospital," the boy said. "County hospital, room 214. He said it like he'd repeated it 100 times already. Like if he forgot, something bad would happen. Another biker removed his sunglasses, eyes narrowing, not in anger, but in focus. "You shouldn't be out here alone." "I had to," the boy replied. "We lost the money." The word lost hung there, heavy and unfinished. The leader didn't push. He waited. Silence had a way of making truth walk out on its own. Finally, the boy whispered, "It was supposed to pay rent and medicine. My uncle said he'd keep it safe." His fingers twisted together. He didn't. The air changed. Jokes died. Smiles vanished. Engines clicked as they cooled, loud in the quiet that followed. One biker spat onto the pavement and muttered, "Coward." Another shook his head slowly, like he was trying not to remember something from his own past. The leader's voice stayed calm, but there was iron underneath it. "You know where he lives?" The boy hesitated. He wasn't sure if he was allowed to answer that. Then he thought of his mom, pale in a hospital bed, pretending not to be scared. He nodded. "Yeah," he said. "Blue house. By the rail tracks." The leader stood and faced his crew. No shouting. No orders. Just a look. They understood. One biker reached into his vest and pulled out a thick roll of bills, setting it gently in the boy's jar. "For today," he said. The leader met the boy's eyes one last time. "Finish selling your lemonade," he said. "We'll handle the rest." As the engines fired back up, the boy watched them leave, not knowing why, but for the first time all day, he didn't feel alone. The blue house sat crooked beside the rail tracks, paint peeling like old scars. One porch light flickered even though the sun hadn't set yet. When the motorcycles arrived, the sound rolled through the neighborhood like a warning. Dogs stopped barking. Curtains twitched. Someone nearby shut a door. The bikes lined up in front of the house, engines idling low. 30 of them. No horns. No shouting. Just the steady, patient rumble of men who had nowhere else to be. The uncle opened the door halfway and froze. His eyes flicked from leather vests to steel-toed boots, to the leader standing calmly at the front. The uncle tried to smile, the way people do when they think charm might save them. "Can I help you?" he asked. The leader didn't raise his voice. He didn't step forward either. "You took money from a child," he said. "Money meant for a sick woman." The uncle laughed, short and nervous. "That's family business." The leader nodded slowly. "Family business ends when you steal from blood." Silence pressed in. Somewhere in the distance, a train horn wailed. The uncle's shoulders slumped just enough to tell the truth was coming out. "I was going to put it back," he muttered. "Just needed it for a bit." One of the bikers took off his gloves, finger by finger. "Funny how a bit always costs someone everything." The leader held up a hand. "No violence. Just clarity. We don't need excuses," he said. "We need the money." The uncle swallowed hard and stepped aside. Inside, the house smelled like stale beer and regret. He disappeared into a back room and returned with a grocery bag stuffed with cash. It hit the table with a soft, ugly sound. "Count it," the leader said. The uncle's hands shook as he did. He came up short. The leader didn't move. "You'll make it right." The uncle nodded fast. "I swear. I'll sell my truck. I'll bring the rest tonight." The leader leaned in just enough for his voice to drop. "If that kid has to sell lemonade again tomorrow, we'll come back. And next time, we'll bring patience." They left as quietly as they came. Engines roared to life, not in celebration, but in closure. The uncle sank into a chair, staring at the empty doorway, knowing something worse than fear had just paid him a visit. Consequences. The hospital room smelled like disinfectant and tired hope. Machines hummed softly, steady and stubborn, like they refused to give up. The boy sat beside his mom's bed, swinging his legs, holding a paper cup of lemonade he'd saved just for her. "Did you sell it all?" she asked, her voice thin but smiling. "Every cup," he said, proud and careful, like the happiness might break if he moved too fast. A knock came at the door. The boy stiffened, but then the leader stepped in, helmet under his arm. Two other bikers followed, quieter now, almost gentle. They set grocery bags down, then an envelope. Then another. "You dropped something earlier," the leader said, placing the bag of money on the tray table. "Belongs to you." The mother's eyes filled instantly. She tried to sit up, tried to speak, but the words tangled with tears. The leader shook his head. "No thanks needed," he said. "Just get better." The boy watched his mom cry. Not the scared kind, but the kind that lets air back into your lungs. He didn't fully understand what the bikers had done, only that something heavy had been lifted off his chest. Before they left, one biker taped a new sign to the wall. Clean cardboard. Bold letters. "Lemonade sold out." Outside, dusk painted the sky purple and gold. The bikes lined up again, engines rumbling softer than before. The leader crouched one last time in front of the boy. "World's rough," he said. "But it's not finished with you yet." The boy nodded. He would remember that. As the bikers rode off, their lights shrinking into the distance, the boy climbed onto the bed and leaned against his mom. She wrapped her arm around him, weak but certain. For the first time in a long while, neither of them was counting what they'd lost. They were counting what they still had.